Okay, it was a disappointing loss for us on the road. Game we felt we had an opportunity to win. We didn't get that accomplished. Put ourselves in a tough position as a team. Offensively, we talked about protecting the football in this game. We didn't do that. We had 2 interceptions, one in the last 2-minute drive. We talked about stealing 2 possessions with ball control. We didn't accomplish our goal as far as time of possession. We started out that way, but three and outs in the third quarter negated that. We did not accomplish our goal of 50% on third downs. We were only 38%. Red zone touchdowns, we were 3 for 4. Our goal is 100%. We talked about staying ahead of the chains. Again, being in manageable third downs. We had 5 negative plays. We did not have any offensive penalties. We did have 2 sacks. Both of those came on play-action shots down the field, which eliminated those opportunities. We had 4 drops in the game. 3 of those came on third downs that would have converted third downs and kept the chains moving. And we weren't efficient in the run game in the second half in particular. Defensively, we talked about stealing 2 possessions from a team that averaged 2 turnovers a game. We got none. We had several missed opportunities, interceptions that were in our hands, and didn't take advantage of that. We talk about eliminating chunks. We didn't do that. They had 3 chunk runs over 10 yards. 2 of those were 42-yard touchdowns, and they had 4 chunk passes. 1 of those was a touchdown on a 3rd and long with 12 seconds left in the half. That really turned the tide of the game. Talked about getting multiple hats to 33, who I think is an excellent back. He actually got injured in that game. 34 came in his stead, and they rushed for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, 4.8 average, so we didn't accomplish that. And we talked about getting off the field on third downs. I thought the defense did a nice job in that area. They were 28% on third downs. Anything 35% or better is considered successful. We did get to their quarterback at times, very elusive guy. Roy Robertson had a sack, Lawrence Montague had a sack, and Jimmy Musgrave had a sack. We had probably about 3 other opportunities to get him down, and we didn't. A very athletic, mobile quarterback. He ended up with 291 yards and 2 touchdowns. Special teams-wise, our punt team really has been outstanding all year. Luna gets better and better, has been consistent, and really has done a great job. He was 47.3 average, long as 61, 2 inside the 20, 1 down to the 1 again. I think he's had like 4 or 5 this year, and only 3 returns for a 3.3 average because he's got such an unusual ball that he gives you a different ball every time. So Alan Loon has been a very big bright spot of our special teams. Punt return, our goal was to have the ball in our hands at the end of the play. I think we got very fortunate there. Warren Reddick's had one go through his hands and ended up bouncing right back to him. But in the other returns, I thought he made good decisions fielding the ball and had some nice returns. He does give us some return ability there. He had 3 returns for 22 yards. Kickoff cover. We talked about great coverage and relentless effort. They had 2 returns for a 17.5 average, which is good, and 2 touchbacks by Jay Maddox. Kickoff return, we did have 1 61-yard return by Autry Golden that I feel a healthy Autry Golden would have taken that thing to the house with ease. Just kind of shows you how beat up he is. And I think the front line did a great job handling their squibs and sky kicks, so I thought the kickoff return did a good job in that game. PAT field goal. We had a drop snap on our first PAT attempt, and it really, we talked to the players about how every play can affect the outcome of the game or how the game is played. We're playing catch-up from that point and having to go for 2 twice, which we didn't convert. Otherwise, you're looking at when we score in the 2-minute drive, it's a 1-score game, rather than looking at having to get 2 to make it a 1-score game and ended up being a 2-score game. And then PAT field goal block, we did not get any blocks versus them. Moving forward to Louisiana Tech, I really feel that it's the most complete team in Conference USA. It's very experienced. They got 13 senior starters. They're first in Conference USA West. They've got 3 losses. Their losses were 39-33 to Kansas State in overtime. Mississippi State beat them 45-20, and they lost on the road again to Western Kentucky. So all 3 road games that they lost. Their formula's been good this year. Turnovers, they're +4 in that category. Time of possession, this is a very explosive offense. And penalties, a big change from last year. They're number 2 in Conference USA, so they're playing good football, they're playing disciplined football. Their offense is explosive in every aspect. 40 points per game, which is second in Conference USA. 172.9 rushing, which is third. 314 passing, which is third, and 487 total yards a game, which is third in Conference USA. Middle of the pack, third downs, third in red zone touchdowns. They've only given up 15 sacks and 368 attempts, which is good. Excellent, actually. And they start fast. They average 11.1 points per first quarter, 14.6 per second quarter. They got 6 senior starters. They have a transfer quarterback from Florida that looks like a defensive end. This guy's 6'4", 240. He's had a great year for them. 3,000 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's also their second leading rusher. As a quarterback, 278 yards, 4.1 a carry, and 5 touchdowns rushing the ball. This guy can run as well. Kenneth Dixon, who I feel I have the utmost respect for their running back. I think he's the best player in Conference USA. He is a physical cat. He can catch, he can block, he runs hard, and he's been consistent. He's their school all-time leading rusher. He's had 2 big games against us. 933 yards this year, 6.3 average, scored 17 touchdowns. He scored 6 touchdowns against North Texas alone. He also is a good receiver out of the backfield, 22 receptions, 251 yards, add 3 more touchdowns to that. This guy is a complete football player. You'll be seeing him play on Sundays, as you will the quarterback. I feel they have the most explosive group of receivers that we'll face all year. Starts with Trent Taylor. He's already over 1,000 yards with 75 receptions, 7 touchdowns, 100 yards a game. Paul Turner, 31 receptions, 13.2 per catch, 3 touchdowns. And Carlos Henderson, who I feel has big playability, number 1, 27 receptions, 21.6 per catch, and 3 touchdowns. This guy is an explosive player. Defensively, I felt they were good defense last year. I think they're better this year. They're only giving up 24 points a game, third in Conference USA. They're the best versus the run in Conference USA. They're only giving up 98 yards per game. And they're only giving up 3 yards a carry, which is first in Conference USA by a long shot. Middle of the pack in passing defense, ranked 8th, and then 362 yards total per game. That puts them as third in defense. So these guys are in the top 3 in offense, top 3 in defense. They've been good on third downs. They've struggled a little bit in red zone touchdowns. And then these guys, more than any team we've played this year, play beyond the line of scrimmage. They're a heavy blitz team. They give you multiple packages of 3 downs and 4 down looks. They have 7 senior starters, very experienced, very talented. They got 21 sacks and 72 tackles for losses. That's 7 a game, which is outstanding. Their linebacker leads their team in tackles, number 6, Bo Fitt. Made a lot of plays for them. They're getting great defensive end play from Dora, number 8, who's an experienced guy, senior, 6'4", 262. He's second on the team, tackles for losses. They got a freshman that's really going to be a great player for them. He's got 14 tackles for losses and 6 sacks. He leads them in that category. He also leads them in quarterback hits. That's number 45, Jalen Ferguson, 6'5", 256. Very experienced secondary, Xavier Woods. This guy last year had 230 yards and interception return yards. This year he's got 42 tackles, 6 for loss, interception, forced fumble. They've also got Kentrell Bryce, another guy that led their team in tackles last year. He's third on their team in tackles this year. The other safety, they got 2 outstanding safeties. And then their cornerback, Bryce Abraham, leads their team with interceptions with 3 and pass breakups with 12. So experienced, outstanding secondary, 2 defensive ends that get after the quarterback, an outstanding linebacker, and then they got a big cat inside. Vernon Butler, he's athletic and explosive. 7 tackles for losses, 3 sacks. Would not be surprised if any one of those 6 guys ends up playing on Sundays in the NFL. Special teams, punt coverage units, they've been bottom pack of Conference USA. Their punters averaging 40.1 yard average. Punt return, they got 2 explosive returners as their receivers, number 5 and number 3. Number 3 has a 32.5 yard average as far as punt returns and a 45 yard touchdown. Kickoff cover, the guy that is their Lou Groza candidate finalist, he's also their kickoff guy as well. He's got 14 touchbacks. Kickoff return, Carlos Henderson is a big play guy. He's got a long of 57 and a 23.8 yard average, and he had big returns last year as a freshman. Their kicker's outstanding. He's 50 for 50 PATs, and then he's got a long of 50, and this guy can kick field goals as well. So you're talking about a team that's strong offense, strong defense, strong special teams. As I mentioned, I feel they're the most complete team in Conference USA. They're coming to our place. It's an afternoon game. I'd like to remind the Miner fans that we kick off at 1:30, and we'd love to have their support because we'll need it at this point. Any questions?
Going back to the ODU game, that second half, was the plan to sort of wear them down with the run and keep control of the ball instead of just going downfield and kind of opening up?
Yeah, the plan was to control the clock and keep it away from their offense. But the run game was inefficient in the second half for a multitude of reasons. Again, you go another high ankle sprain, and both those guys were running well early in the first half. So, I'm not going to make any excuses. We're a beat-up team. I kind of likened it to running your truck on fumes and see how far you can get. I really felt in the second half as I looked out there, Hayden Plicky's down, Sterling Napier's down. I can't even name the linemen that we're playing with right now. We had an offensive tackle playing tight end. We're down to bare bones, and we ran out of gas, to be honest with you.
What is your depth chart right now, Ron?
I couldn't tell you. I'm just trying to field a team for this game.
Coach, that said, you still have everything in front of you. You can still get to 6 wins here. You need a win this week, obviously. How much would a good crowd in the Sun Bowl on Saturday?
Well, crowd always helps, but as I've always said, we haven't had 52,000 at the games, but our crowd's loyal and they're loud, and whoever shows up at the game, those are the loyal fans that I worry about. My job is to coach the team. I ain't worried about crowds in the stands, but I do know that they energize our players.
I know you're not worried about crowds, but I did some math this week that's always...
Well, I'm not good at math, and I'm not worried about the crowd. I'm worried about the game, and that's not my job.
Are you disappointed like I am in that there hasn't been as many people in games this year?
No. I love the crowd that's there. They're energized. They're focused. And, again, I'm more worried about a banged-up team than I am worried about pom-poms in the stands.
What do you do to spark the passing game?
Well, it's very difficult right now. Mac's questionable. He was banged up in that game. Don't have a lot of answers for you guys right now. You know what I mean? Schematics have nothing to do with this right now. I'm trying to field a healthy team for this game, and it's going to be a challenge to field a healthy team for this game.
Looking at bright spots and watching last week's game, a healthy Blinky is a pretty good player. Would you say that maybe the best tight end you've had here since a guy named Brian Atkin?
He's a lot faster than Nacken. Nacken will be the first to tell you that. But I agree he is. I think he's got the ability to play on Sundays. He's not healthy right now. He finished that game taped up with an MCL. His availability will be in question too. But I'm with you on that one. I think he's special.
How much has Brian worked with him, and how much does that he deserve credit for?
Oh, Brian's outstanding. Brian's an outstanding coach. He's an outstanding teacher. Not only has he worked with that kid on the field, he's really developed that kid off the field. And he's a mentor to that kid, and that kid's just going to get better and better. I hope we can have him health-wise the rest of the season. I don't know.
Can you talk about the seniors, 20 seniors, and the emotions that come with senior day?
Yeah, they're playing in front of their folks. There's a lot of emotion to play with those guys anymore. We'll have one game after this, but it's emotional. You love the fans. You love UTEP. You love your teammates. And it's the last time you're going to take the field with those guys. It is emotional.
Is Powell going to have to get a bunch of carries this week?
Yeah, he will. He had one carry in that game, did a nice job. He'll have to get more carries, as will Kavika Johnson, because, again, I can't point to too many healthy guys in that area.
Have you ever experienced anything like this in 25 years regarding health?
Probably not to this magnitude across the board. I've experienced, within a position group. I've experienced it maybe one side of the ball or the other, but not collectively as a team. And, I'll worry about that after the season. My job right now is to piece together a team and try to do the best we can. I do know this. Our kids are out there fighting, man. I ain't got any problem with our kids' effort and heart and passion. I really felt they ran out of gas. I'm looking out there one play, and you got 4 guys hobbling, just trying to finish the game. And I got respect for that. You know what I mean? I know everybody looks at the end result and looks at the score and, oh, the Miners are disappointing. Not to me. You know what I mean? Those guys are out there fighting.
Warren came up big on that last touchdown drive, but it seems like this kind of past couple of games starting to come to find his little niche on the team.
Yeah, Warren Reddix is a football player. He'll get more touches. I really like what he can do as a running back. I like what he can do as a receiver, as a returner. And he's got a lot of heart. man, he's going to be a really good football player for us. And right now, he is a healthy guy, and we need to utilize him these last 2 games big time. But I'm a big fan of Warren Reddick's. He's actually our captain of the week. He'll carry out the pickaxe, representing our team for what he's done, not only on offense, but also on special teams. He's a good football player.
Think there's enough left in the tank to get an upset this weekend?
Well, I'm going to go get my coffee cup and fill it with gas and see how far we can get, because that's about where we're at.
So do you prepare Metz as if he's going to start?
We got to see. You know, Mac got banged up in that game. I've never seen an injury report come back and it says body. Okay, usually it's one thing or the other. He's beat up right now. He's a warrior, but he was dinged at the end of that game. We got to see his availability, and but if it's not Mac, it'll be Metz.
You go with Metz at holder now?
Yeah, Metz will be the holder. Any other questions? Thanks, guys.